we're back in Hamstermind for a duel of minds. We're in this new sort of game here, which we have hints for in our journal. In this initial section, we've had this Kasparov's game, which looks exactly like what we're about to be doing. So yes, it's 3 by 3. Each player has 3 pieces, and bring your 3 pieces to the other side. Move 1 piece at a time, adjacent or toggle empty space. If you can't move, your turn is skipped, and then it shows us like some example from a game Hamster Jones has previously played against Garfield Kasparov. But in that game, wouldn't they all be stuck? Because that's my question. Like, this board is very limited, so it feels like it would be quite hard to, because you have to get around the other player's pieces. But I think let's give it a try. Like, if we just move to the middle, right, he can move there. I assume I can't move his piece. But here we're now blocking each other. And the thing is also that our ability to do moves is limited by the fact that we can't reach some of our pieces unless we can walk to them. So what can we do? Like, we could move this piece to the side. We probably don't want to move this bottom piece because then that lets him get to the bottom. So let's see. If I do this, okay, he will try to go in here. But I can then block him here, and that puts us in basically what was on that picture. But then he unblocks me here so that I can get my piece in there. Okay, but then he gets to do 2 moves, and I'm sort of stuck in here. I have to go backwards. And then we're basically blocked. I can go back in there. And then that will let me start moving my other pieces, right? Because I can get now unstuck here. But yes, he's gonna try to block me in as well. So yes, we're gonna be 2 and 2 at the end. But now I can't move other than move here. Yes, we're just gonna be blocking each other in. So how do I get this piece out, right? I can go move my piece over there to then block him here. Okay, that gets him moved over there, so I can go up, do that. But now I will lose because he will move this piece to the end, so that doesn't help. Yeah. So, that's how the game works, but that's not how you win. Yes, and that just takes us back to the start of the battle. Okay. So let's try something different, maybe. If we move to the middle, he goes there, but then I can just block him in there. I can move my piece there. That lets me go through here. But all that gives me is I'll be able to move to the side here. If I move my piece in the back, what would he do? Okay, he will move forward here. So I'm like, can I trick him into doing something? Not specifically. Okay, he moves that in there, so I can go here. But we're again going into that hole. One of my pieces might be stuck. Let's see. He will move that there. I'm stuck here, so I can only move that here. If I'm here, then he can't cut me off quite yet, but I assume he will block me there. Yes. Okay, now I'm able to escape here and still keep him from finishing, and instead I can finish and I win this time. He looks sad. Yippee! It's done. I solved the puzzles of the pyramid and defeated you in the duel. Now give me the treasure. Give me the wish. Maybe you're right, Jones. I tried everything to beat you, but nothing worked. Look at him, he's so sad. Then admit it, you've lost. My wish is vital. I must have it. I kept this chest sealed for millennia, and despite all my efforts, I couldn't protect it. Yes, whatever riddle you put in my path, I'll always solve it. Mohoho. So this is really the end? I don't think it is the end. Not at all. It's alright, Charon. I loved your pyramid, and all good things must come to an end. Oh, he's getting confident again, huh? But... you really thought I was sincere? I'll hide in a place where you will never find me, and I'll take the chest with me. Yes, there is more! But can we have our friends back? We need them for the puzzles. Okay, we've got credits. Again, I don't believe this is the end. This is just credits. So,
if you think that you have won, I must warn you 'cause you are wrong. So here's a little song to remind you of the smartest. Hey, that doesn't rhyme. You're jealous in my mind. I have been smarter all this time. You thought that you would shine, but all you did was fail in this quest. See, Jones, that's an ACBC rhyme. You think you know everything, but no. You are the dumbest being of all times. You can't even fly, well me, I can fly, because I have wings. 22 steps ahead of you, 22 tricks, always do 22 reasons I am the best, 22 ways to mark your tiny quest.
Feels like 22 is your favorite number.
Of course, it's my favorite number, duh. Hidden in plain sight, right nearby, ignored by fools who never try. The cake may be alive, but no one doubts the FBI. You'll never find the place I hide. I broke the only thing that could guide you. Everything's perfect, everything's fine. Now I sleep in of the right.
I was not expecting a song. But yes, he seems to be dropping some clues in there. Of course, the number 22. Potentially some of the other things. I may have to like get it from the recording and analyze if there is anything more that I need to get from it. Oh, we're getting a little video as well. Okay, that might just be to do with the in-memory section. They've included a nice video. So yes, it kicked us out to the start, but again, I think there is more. So I go back in, yes, the chest is gone now, so yes, things are happening. But our friends are back and they want to talk to us. Hey, maybe the boots are finally working. Hamster, I finished repairing those boots! You can finally use them! Yes, awesome. Use them for what exactly? No idea what they're for. I'm sure we'll figure it out. By the way, Chris found another crack. Again? Chris is unbelievable. Thanks again, Dr. Hamstein. Exactly, there is more. I'm currently at 139% again, like 213 was the indicated value, so we know there's still plenty. Okay, we've equipped the boots. You retrieved the boots you found earlier. Dr. Hamstein has completely repaired them. What could they be used for? Well, I mean, we don't seem to be wearing them. They're there, but they're not there. Can't have them in this outfit. So that unlocks them here. Magnetic boots. Restored by Hamstein, these boots give off a magnetic aura. Okay. And there are still 2 things we know nothing about. So, you know, more game. What's up with Anne-Marie? Oh, Anne-Marie, I'm so happy to see you again. Thought Charon had hurt you. Not at all. He just asked us to hide during his little challenge. Well, he did say he'd erase us from existence if we didn't obey, but other than that, he didn't do anything to us. Classic Charon. Now I'll have to search everywhere for him. Okay, so nothing with her. Again, this panel exists, but this feels like I will only be doing this once I've learned what the stars do, because this already uses both the filled and unfilled, and that feels like it would be too much guessing try to work it out on a busy panel, especially where I'm still like a bit on some of the rules with the circles. Like, I found an explanation that worked, but I'm not convinced by the logic, so I would like to try it more on an intermediate panel if I can find it. So what's going on? Okay, we have something happening at the bottom. He's destroyed this place completely, the lights chamber, everything is broken. But Chris is here now, there is a crack. There was a crack here? I didn't see it, yeah. Maybe it has formed after the distraction. That's normal, boss. The tremors from Charon caused it. Incredible, Chris. Nothing escapes you. Not even cracks that just appear. Thanks, boss. Launching the Insecto-drone. Okay, wow. That's a busy one. So we have to figure out how to get around here, obviously. And because it's like alternating things, it's gonna be interesting. I think this will involve going back through the same nodes, but having it achieve different things. Because like this grid is so tightly packed that it will cause us problems to try to do otherwise. If we turn towards the middle, and then can we like do things where we spin around there and go back to the middle, spin somewhere else? So this will send us around. And yeah, then we end up going that way and can potentially loop around to somewhere else. But yes, we're just stuck with the corners. So can we do anything with this? And if we spin back around... Okay, then we get stuck at the bottom here. So we're definitely gonna need to like use these spin instructions multiple times, because there is not a single path that goes through all of the nodes but doesn't cross on itself, right? It's just too busy. So we have to find a way to basically bounce ourselves back. I think through the center, basically. You're going to the center, then going back around, then back to center, back around. So with that in mind, to go to the center first, we spin clockwise. And then what? Do we spin here, or do we just go through the center multiple times from the outside maybe? Because it feels like if we spin, then it will work a couple times, but then we will get stuck in a loop or facing a wall. So we go through the center, we end up here. If we spin clockwise again, we'll go this way, then clockwise again this way, and then we can't go back to the start, so we'll have to turn here. So that will get us going through the center this way. So now we're here. And now we have to go back down again, because that will bring us here, and that will shoot us back up to this. We will turn to this corner. So again, clockwise to go down. This will shoot us back through the middle again, and this should shoot us up. So actually, out of all of the things they've given us, we're only using the clockwise instructions. Let's see. There we go. Well, he does not want to come with us, which means we have to go ourselves to whatever this is. Ooh, mysterious. Oh, something about those guys. Ascend with X, press LB. Okay, so the Omega symbol, if we go to the map, it's not something you can always see because typically I have my camera there in the video, but we'll move it. When we go to levels, if the level contains what I call the useless horse, the Ponyglyph, it has an Omega symbol on the level select. So actually, because I've been thinking about them, like I called them the useless horse, right? But it feels like they are not useless. They are about something. So ascend with X, press LB. So if we go to the nearest one and do that, let's see if we can do something to them. I know there's exciting things in that tunnel, but I'm like, I've been suspicious about those guys for a while, so I want to check what if that means anything. Okay, this tile now has a glow. Ascend with X, press LB. Oh my god. The ponyglyphs were right. We're in the upside down. And then we can look at the top and we can look at the bottom. And there is a different puzzle here. Please let me out. Well, so last time when we did the light stuff, we obviously had to go through everything and rearrange the puzzles to let the light through. And now there is a third layer where those puzzles also have an upside down version. This game is insane. Like, it looks like a cutesy hamster adventure puzzle, but there's totally something else going on here. Oh, and there are ponyglyphs here as well. You need 5 keys to open this door. Yeah, I noticed there are 5 logs. Don't you have something more useful to tell me, please? Yeah, exactly. They're always just stating the obvious. Pressure, none, lost F or L1 to flip. Connection failure. Yeah, need 5 keys. They all say the same thing, I think. Yes, they all say the same thing, which means we need the 5 keys as in where there is a ponyglyph in the levels, we need to flip it upside down and we need to solve them, and that will be the 5 keys into here. Okay. Well, let's see about that then. Well, let's go from the top. There's one in the very first floor. The one that talks about cats and toast being together and what happens. So we can like fully restart a level so that we have it back to the orientation it was the first time, which might be helpful. But then yes, we have to even collect the lights, so maybe we don't want to do it everywhere. But yes, we can now go through in here and we can flip ourselves. I assume we couldn't do that from the start, right? Maybe the glow is from like the boots, because since we're upside down, obviously we would have fallen out, but if we're wearing the boots, then that's fine. So yes, now we have, there's an object over there that we can potentially collect. Oh, except we're gonna have to do stuff on the surface to flip those things around to then make those other pieces accessible. So not only it's like, oh, there's just another puzzle on the other side we have to do. No, we have to actually know what is going on both sides. We basically want the 2 pieces that are here on the right to be facing the other way so that we can access them. Or at least the one next to us, we want it to be facing the other way so that we can access them. Which means we would want it like this, right? Or I guess even more so like this, because then it connects. But then we can still make it to this tile. And so here we can get across and we can be here. But what we want is we want that object, which means we probably want to do something with this so that we can get into that little other area of the tile. So then we can get to here and onto this. But this doesn't let us flip, right? That's one thing we gotta take into account, that only the ponyglyph tile is able to flip us. So we can turn here and exit. So then on the other side, we gotta pass through it. Okay, this way the little alcove is facing up, so that may get us somewhere. Oh yeah, we need to get in there, get onto this tile. And yes, we can get into here, then move here and grab whatever this is. You found a key. Final 5 to unlock the secret. Okay, well, now we just have to get out of here. We're free. So that's 1 key. Okay, so one of the places in the menu is for the keys. So we have 1 out of 5. To the next one we go. So that one is in... Oh, they might be in side levels as well. Okay, so there's one in B4. Well. We got our work cut out for us, that's for sure. I'm not sure if it's best to reset the levels. Oh, interesting. That one is also flippable. So there is a ponyglyph on the other side of it. Okay, so there are also secret ponyglyphs, and then that introduces a new thing of there are multiple tiles you can flip, so there can be more things happening. However, flipping this tile and then doing things in it doesn't help us because there's no connections here. So we have to go around and potentially flip this one. See where that gets us. That lets us go into this tile and then back onto this tile. We can talk to this ponyglyph. Yes, don't forget you can rotate the room you're in. Rotate or flip or all that. Yes, I already know that. Yes, okay, so he still talks about the cat with buttered toast. Nothing interesting here. Okay, if we now flip ourselves back, it gives us this tile here. And we can potentially go to here. So now we're above there. But we can't make a connection with the next tile, so that's not super useful. Also, that glass cube is glitching out. Is this cube supposed to be glitching like this? This feels like a bug. Right? Shouldn't it be riding with the square, or is this a new mechanic now that we can do those things with the tiles, right? Right? Because I'm pretty sure previously they would just move along with the tile, but now it just doesn't. I mean, it looks buggy, but it does mean changes for the puzzle. I've restarted the level just to see it better if I start from the start, and now the cube seems to be riding correctly with the block. So that may have been a bug of some sort. Okay, so this is basically the state we're at when we finish the base level. And here, the final tile is facing where we want to, but we're not where we need to be, because even if we're on this tile, we can't then connect to the key at the top. So what can we do? Because immediately leaving here requires us to flip this tile around, right? So it's no longer what we want it to be. We can transfer ourselves to the top of it and be like this. So then when we flip, we're into here, right? But again, not what we want. We want this turn like this, and this turn like this, at least there is a connection. But we still have to do something to be able to connect the middle, which means we want to be on the other side of this tile. Which means like being able to ride into this notch on this tile, because like they don't fit together so well, right? On the different sides, and only two of them can flip. If we flip this one, we can go back through here, so we can have that tile flipped again. But yes, this side, it does not connect too much here other than this. So actually we can get into here. Does that help when we flip around? We can now make it here, but we don't want to turn it, but we can also make it to here. But yes, now the other tile is the wrong way around. Okay, now we're doing something. So now we have this tile here. We can get into this notch and collect the key. There we go. That's our second one. So let's get out of here. Apparently not this side. still need to flip ourselves on this side and then we can get out. Hey, well, where's the next one? In C5, nothing is useless. Yes, turns out useless horse is not a useless horse. This is the one with laser jellies and portals. So we can visit the horse, of course, and then we can flip ourselves here. Okay, there are portals here. There is purple and orange. Yeah, I'm sort of remembering being here and being like, oh, there are 2 portals that have no links. And that's because they do have links, they're just not what we think. And now we have portals that go to the other side. Okay, so we can go to purple, and then we need to turn it so we can go to orange. And that just gets us to the key, so actually not too bad. We just had to get the portals the right way around, because you need to be able to move forward. So now just go the other way around to be able to exit from here. Go to the top, we're going to the top, yes. And leave. So that one went better. So for the next key, we've got D2, so a space level. More portals. You're going to be upside down. Was that the original name of this level, or did they now change now that I unlocked this new thing? I'm trying to remember because I don't. I'll probably check on the video and confirm that. So yes, this flips, and there's a situation downstairs, okay, where we have to get 2 cubes in order to unblock the jellies. So that's what we have to start with. Getting onto that area. So we have to get onto the red portal. So out of yellow, out of pink, out of blue, and then into red, and we can flip this tile. And then yes, we can get the yellow cube out of the way. Then back to blue. Oh no, yeah, that should be fine. Yes, back to blue. The light blue, that is. So we have to unwind ourselves with those teleporters and come out of this one, whichever where it is. I could check. Oh, okay, but yes, we need to get this arranged. So this tile on the other side needs to be joining. If I have things this way, I can now exit with the red portal facing up, so now the key is facing where I want it to face. Where do I go from here? Okay, yeah, that's it, I think, because now if I turn, yeah, I can get to the key. There we go. And now we can just exit. There we go. That's 4 out of 5, so just one more, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, the last one is an A7. So what's going on in here? Well, we know there's a horse here, so we can flip, we can see. Okay, the key is behind 2 jellies, which means we need to be lasering red and yellow. Yellow can be lasered on this side, but red only on this side. There is some stuff that needs to be happening. So now this is all rearranged to work as it was for the holes. So I remember doing this a bunch of ways because yeah, it has to be like facing the exits. So we need to now undo all that in order to get the jelly solutions instead. So we can exit here, then we'll be able to access this little bit so that we can keep turning the tiles around and getting them all facing back into the middle. this can be turned here, then those two are connecting, and then the red is being removed, and I can still leave, go back round to the Ponyglyph. And then both red and yellow unremoved, and we can grab the key. So that's the last one, which means back down we go to see what the Ponyglyphs are hiding. Because they've been very mysterious all this time. Listen, horsies. I got your keys. The door's just open. Are there anything else to say? Okay. No, nothing. Like, I already opened the door. You don't need to tell me I need keys to open the door. E1. Secret wing. The pyramid stops being polite. You're saying it was polite all this time? Because I don't think so. Okay, more language. Okay, 35 scarabs is an explanation for the stars, but we're gonna try to work it out ourselves, right? And there is another something. Okay, this is showing us a secret again, similar to the scarab puzzles. Oh, there's a secret in the light room? Well, let's find out, you know, before we get to any of this. Oh, there is a lot going on here, and there's a big chamber at the end. So there's 3 chambers that are already opened, but we're taking a little trip back. And yes, is this the lights chamber? And now we can go to the side. I'm getting stuck on the debris and find a thing. No? Yes. Yes. More scarab puzzles. So now we've got boxes. We've got HAMSTERMIND boxes. We've got big trophy. That's like we had that B1A1 trophy thingy. An arrow with 4 question marks. And the candles. Okay, so when there were clues previously here, and I said like, oh, one was the something they explored that I mentioned, it gave us a date, and then it was birthday. I was like, oh, are the two the same or something else? I think that other one is something else. But does that mean, because we have some birthdays for the people here, right? But it doesn't give us a year, it gives us day, month, and the clue there is birthday plus birthday plus birthday plus birthday plus birthday. Day, month, year. I mean, it might just overflow or something, but just adding them together is not gonna get us a 6-digit number. Here we've got impossible level, question mark, 50, 100, 500, a shape, infinity, leads to a spiral. Does it ever end? So we've got a lot more to think about it and see. There is something here. Something SD. Can I see it? Again, I'm going on about how there is secret text on things. I can't move my camera here. I mean, anywhere really. So I can't change the angle. Something S and then D something. I mean, it could be a longer word that start with B, but not sure. How could I read this? How could I work it out? Mysteries and mysteries. Well, we'll see if I gather any more clues, right? Because previously we were getting clues for these by doing language puzzles, and Marie would give us further clues, so... And there is still room in our journal for more clues. Bunch, so if we stick to that, there is a next language puzzle we can solve and see if we get more clues. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here the stars start. Again, the only clue we have to the stars is this one, right? Tommy Reversi for the star. Something about reversing home. So we have a line that wants to be on the right. That's fairly easy. An S shape that doesn't seem to care about anything. And then a semicircle with a star. If I just put it there, that is not true. Like, I assume this is gonna be mostly about something to do with the semicircle. Like, there's something special about it. Like, we can go through and see if it's anything to do with position. I mean, could it want to swap with the other shape, right? So we put the circle here and the line on the other side. Ah, interesting. Because yes, reverse, it does bring into mind something is reversed. So does it pick one shape and it's like, no, I want to take your place and you go somewhere else? Or maybe both of them, right? Because now 2 of the shapes, they want to be on the right, but do I put them both on the left and the semicircle on the right? No. Do I just put one? Like, does it just pick one that it wants to be swapped with? Or will it matter which one we pick? Okay, so it wanted to be swapped with the S shape, but not with the line. But it's not due to them intersecting, I think, because previously the line and the circle were intersecting, so it might be something about reading top to bottom. Okay, now we have a reverse arrow on the S shape, which means it wants to be not on the right side, and the line wants to be on the right side. So does it still reverse the S shape, or do you need like a filled star to work with a filled shape? There's few options here, right? We say again that the semicircle swapped with the line, and then the S just cares about being not on the right. Okay, that works. But now the semicircle has a star and the thing. So the semicircle wants to be at the top. So does it want to swap with the S shape that wants to be on the right? The semicircle goes there, and then the line also on the right? No. So if we ignored the star, what we would have is the S shape here, the line here, or like the S shape and the line could swap. And then the semicircle would want to be in the top, right? If there was no star. But that is not the answer, because the semicircle wants to swap with something else, like with the S shape. But then yes, does the arrow that's already on the semicircle, does it apply to it, or does it apply to the shape it wants to swap with? So now the S shape is like at the top somewhere. Okay. So that worked. That worked with the S shape at the top, but not on the right and the semicircle on the right. Interesting, interesting. Now we're mixing more. Now we have a filled star. So my theory, we haven't tried it, but my theory is that it applies to the filled other shape. So there's only one filled arrow that says not right, which means the semicircle wants to be not right. And then that arrow also has, it wants to be up. Then the semicircle wants to be up and not right. This is getting confusing. And then the line is gonna be somewhere else. Well, the S shape, it wants to be on the right and have a number 2 if we're going by it wants the intersections. But then the line is gonna end up right and not up because of the semicircle? Not quite. Does it still care about being up because we've only removed the not right? So if we only remove the not right, then it cares about being right. And then the S shape has to be somewhere else on the right and have number? Yes, okay. Getting there slowly. This is an interesting one because we have a square which has a load of shapes. Filled circle, open circle, an arrow, and a filled star. Then one other shape with a filled shape is the S shape, so I'm like, does the filled star on the square, it means it will basically almost negate the other first shape it has, or does it ignore it because they're on the same shape and it goes for basically flipping the other S shape? So the square has so many instructions, so it wants to count intersections, of which it has 3. It intersects with the S shape twice. It wants to be on the left. And then, but then if it has an open circle and a filled circle, do we add up the numbers together, right? So because we have 3 from the intersection counting and potentially like 7 from doing my theory of like the filled circle is taking the longest path to the further away shape. So we would basically from the filled circle go up, that's 3 intersections, right to another intersection, down 2 more intersection, left 1 more intersection, and that just lets it go to the arrow. So that's 7 and 3. So the square has a 10 over it. Then the semicircle, it's just like hanging out. It doesn't care about any of this nonsense. And then the S shape, therefore, wants to be on the right because the not arrow. Oh, but then how does it work? If the star is removing the not on the right arrow from the S shape, does it then apply to the square or not? Okay. It does not. So now we have 2 squares. One has open star, the other one has closed star, we have open circle, closed circles. Like, so what are the stars targeting, right? Is the targeting based on like closest shape, further away shape? Let me look through my notebook to see, because clearly like going alongside the path of the shape and picking something based on that is a rule, right? So especially here on this right one, the star wanted to target the arrow on the S shape because it's closer in terms of intersections, because to get to the star on the line, that's 2 intersections, but to get the star on the S shape is just 1. That might be how we do it. It's the closest shape that it targets. So like in terms of intersection counting, right? Not actual distance. We can zoom this in for better view. So for the closed shapes, the star is closer to the closed circle because it's 4 intersections away, but it's 5 away from the arrow. So the closed star is swapping with the closed circle. And the open star, the open star can target either the triangle or the circle on the other square. And the triangle is 2 intersections away while the circle is 3 intersections away. So it's swapping with the open triangle. So we've got 2 squares. One of those squares wants to be not on the bottom, the one with the open star. But because the open star is stealing the triangle, it also means it wants to be not on the bottom, but yes, on the right. While the other square has lost wants to be on the right property, but it doesn't have any other direction, so it can just be here. So this is the one with the open star. It wants to count intersections, so it has 2 intersections based on the open circle. But then it also wants to go to the furthest away shape through the longest path, which means it's probably the filled-in star, like going all the way along. 6, maybe 8. So I think that's 8. So 2 and 8, so that's 10 again. And this one also wants to count intersections, so that's just 2. No. Yes, this is like the more there are, the harder it is to break this apart and be like, which one was the mistake, right? Which one did I get wrong? Am I confusing myself about what the stars are doing? Because I said they're stealing, but are they just canceling? Do we not actually quite care what the shape with the star does? Which might make more sense then. And so that will give us... Let's look through this again. So if it's targeting, the closed star is targeting the closed triangle, that will give us not down is cancelled. And the open star is targeting the right triangle, so it doesn't have to be on the right. Or it doesn't want to be on the right. So we do have 2 squares. Not down is cancelled, so it can be down. But then the meaning of not down is just not down. But if you cancel it, just means anywhere's good? Or do you want to be specifically reversing what it says and therefore it is down? So then the triangle that's here is the one that had the open right arrow. So it still wants to count intersections, so the number on it is 2. This one is the one that's giving me trouble. Because it wants to count intersection, which it has 2 of. But it also wants to count... Oh wait, no. Am I getting confused again? It's cancelling the closed circle. The closed star is cancelling the closed circle because that's the closest. The longest is the one where we're doing the closed circles. Oh my god, it's hard to keep this in my head, honestly. Okay, so actually the not down still applies, so we want to be not down. And then what is cancelled is counting the path to the furthest away shape, and therefore it only gets weight from intersection, so that's 2 again? No. Am I choosing the wrong shape, right? Because I'm saying it wants to be the triangle, but what if it wants to be the open circle? So then that square basically has 2 open circles and then number 4 because we count the intersections twice? Okay. It made sense in that puzzle, but in the broader context I'm confused because once again I thought I knew what was happening earlier, and then I'm kind of like, oh, does it work with all of the previous rules? So I've taken some time to work through the puzzles that I've solved on this panel and try and figure out the rules that actually work for all of them, because I think it's quite easy to go on off the wrong assumption and have that work until it doesn't, right? Then it's like, it's something else, and then you're trying to work it out on the spot again. And yes, with this puzzle, I have reached that point once again of like, the rules I made up made sense until they didn't. So after some thinking time, the new rules I came up with that I think work for all of those things are still that the stars target the other shapes based on the fill, right? So if a star is empty, it targets empty shapes. If a star is filled, it targets the filled shapes. How it picks which shape to target is based on shortest route based on junction count. So the junction counts are still quite important across the different puzzle types. But the biggest mistake I was making was deciding what the stars actually do to those shapes. Because I was going with like, they cancel it or they take it to where the star is. And that worked for some of the examples. But then again, it stopped working at some point. What I think the rules for the stars are is that they flip the fill of the targeted shape. So empty arrows become fill arrows, empty circles become fill circles, and vice versa. It does work across all of the previous puzzles. I have retested it. And so for this last puzzle I'm facing now, the complexity is only deciphering the entirety of this shape. So as far as targeting is concerned, the filled star, it can only target the filled arrows, and they just happen to be equidistant in terms of that junction, so they're both gonna be a target for the star. The empty star has most possibilities because there's 2 empty circles and an empty triangle. However, plotting the route, we have to go through here, and then this is the shortest one. Because to go to the other circle or the other triangle, there will always be more junctions on the way. So it targets the circle on the S shape. So from there, if we were to flip those shapes, this would be what the shape would look like. Basically, we would then treat the stars as if they didn't exist at all, and we would have 2 empty triangles on the lines. The S shape comes with the closed circle, and then the other shapes are unaffected. So from there, the only gnarly thing is the closed circle on the S shape. So as far as my assumptions go, the rule for the closed circle are, it picks a shape, any shape, filled or not, that is the furthest away from it in terms of junctions. And then it takes the longest route, again in terms of junctions, and counts the max number of junctions you can cross to get to that shape without double backing or crossing the same junction. So this is the route I was able to come up with. There are 14 junctions in this shape in total, and I was able to cross 12 of them. So I'm hoping this will be the solution, because otherwise I'm in trouble. So going with that, we treat the lines as if the arrows are empty, so they tell us where the lines want to be. So we have one line that wants to be at the top and one line that wants to be on the left. The square with the stars, it basically cares about nothing because it has no additional shapes, and the stars only apply to different shapes, so we can just put it somewhere else. There is another square that wants to be at the bottom somewhere, and it also wants to count intersections because it has an open circle on it. So that's 3 intersections, one with the half circle, one with the line, and one with the S shape. So that gives us number 3. We have the semicircle, which also has no shapes on it, so it can be anywhere doing whatever we want. And then the S shape, again, position shouldn't matter, but it wants the number 12 on it because that's the amount of junctions I counted to go to the furthest away shape. And that's not correct. Okay, what did I get wrong? I mean, at this point, the most suspicious is the number of the intersections I counted. Like, did I pick the wrong path or something? Unless I got the stars completely wrong yet again, so everything is wrong. So I think where my potential miscalculation is the open star only changing this open circle, because I said this was closest, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 junctions to this. And if we take this route, then yes, all of the other shapes, the circle and the triangle, are further away. But there is an alternative route. If we go the other way, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that gets us to the triangle, which means this triangle on the square should also act as if it's filled. So where that gets us is we remove this square from here because that means it now goes, it doesn't want to be on the bottom, so it can move to the middle, and it has a value of 3 still. I think that circle will remain open. And that's still not it. Again, I'm like just suspicious about my junction calculations now. 13. Okay, just to reconfirm it, because clearly I've just been wrong about the junction counting. In order to do 13, we would have to go through all junctions but 1. So potentially there is stuff we can do going around like this. Yeah, okay, so we're actually, the furthest shape away will be this open star. And then yes, we went for every single junction but 1, which in case of this shape will be 13. Okay, so weirdly enough, that feels like I've got the rules. I still might be proven wrong the next time we try to solve something. I just need to get better at finding out those paths and what the longest one may be. So that means we have solved all of those panels, but the one at the very top, right? That's the last one remaining as far as we know, because we know this, because the journal has 5 tabs for those puzzles and we now filled in 4. So this is the final one. Anne-Marie is gonna give us some clues, I think. I translated and drew the results in the final chapter of your notebook. I don't understand it at all, but I'm sure you'll know what it means. So now we get more clues for the new scarab puzzles we have found. Yes, so there is the arrow going through and it says Top Hat Moon, Skull and Crossbones, and the triangles, which yes, is what I started to suspect that the outfit numbers might be part of some sort of code. We have the trophy ones, which we've already had a different hint about those before, so that's something that will also apply to that new room. So after that, there's still a couple more hints to get, but that will be all, right? That should be the last panel for the shapes, and that will give us the last clues for the new scarab room I found. And then we still actually have to solve everything in the underneath part of the pyramid, because I've only just got there. So we will get to some of it next time. And until then, let me know in the comments what you think of the crazy rabbit hole of puzzles in this game. And if you enjoyed this one, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I will see you soon on another adventure.